Hi, this is an updated EDC based on some of the comments I've received from two previous ones. The purpose of my EDC is to live a more successful life and to have all the tools necessary to do the things I do in my daily work. I have a radio show about the right to keep and bear arms, and so I do a lot of testing of things. I have a lot of use for knives and Leatherman tools and such. I also have a career in sales of the radio program, and I manage a national civil rights organization and a local right to keep and bear arms organization I'm on the board of, the Arizona Citizens Defense League. The radio show is Liberty Watch Radio, available at libertywatchradio.com. On to the EDC. Every successful person has to have a writing instrument. I choose the Parker Jotter. This one writes in blue because I use blue for signatures and such. And I have another one that is a fine point, and it writes in black fine point because I'm left-handed and I don't want it to smear as I write across it. It's also handy to have a second pen when your customer's writing with your first one. The reason I choose Parker, I like the way they write, and they sit down all the way in the pocket. It has a military-style clip. At the very worst, it could be an interesting improvised weapon, but that's not why I have it. Everyone's got to communicate. I choose the Palm Centro. It is an old phone. It's 4 or 5 years old. I don't know how many times I've dropped it. It still works great. I also have a chip in here which has a backup program, and I have an identical phone in my briefcase. And that briefcase, if this phone went away, all I'd have to do is take the chip out of it, put it in the other phone, hit restore, and do an ESN change, and I'd be back on the road. I also keep spare batteries to it. I have 2 spare batteries. I keep a car charger and a spare base charger, so if I ever travel away from home and I forget my base charger, I have one in my briefcase. Because I do photojournalism work for the radio program, and I'm going to show you where I have this in a little while. Because I do photojournalism work for the radio program, I carry a digital camera. The purpose of this digital camera is it's a higher megapixel rate than the camera in the phone, and it's also easier to get the chip in and out of this camera than it is the one in the phone. Therefore, if I want to put something on the internet, upload it to my website, or ship a photo over to someone, it's much faster to use this than it is to use the camera in the phone. The phone camera is a backup, and it's there in case I want to email a photo instantly. Next is my wallet. My wallet is right here. I don't sit on my wallet anymore. I wear one around the neck. I'll take this off and I'll show it to you a little bit better in a little while. But also inside my wallet I have a debit card, and I keep some money in there. And also, to save me from having to wear one more thing, which is a pair of glasses, I keep a sheet magnifier right here inside. And also, important, because I do have knives, of course a couple Band-Aids, and another vital tool, copy of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. Because my business cards aren't going to fit well in there, I have a business card case. Keep my business cards in there, plus this serves as the catch-all file for all the things that I get during the day, invoices, receipts, and it's my small bills. It's my small bills holder right here. Next is my tools. The Leatherman tool. I like the Leatherman Juice S2. I'll show you the holder where I have it, a little bit better view of that in just a moment. But the Leatherman Juice S2 is a handy little tool. It's pretty light. It's got 3 great screwdrivers on the inside, 3 great standard screwdrivers, and an excellent number 2 Phillips. And what I like, the reason I choose the Leatherman, 2 reasons. Number 1, you can get it deeply into places because you can open it all the way out. And number 2, because this particular one has on the outside a bottle opener, which I do occasionally use, and something I use just about every week, which is my scissors. I keep a spare Leatherman for a couple of reasons. Number 1, this one's a little smaller. It gets into tighter spaces. This can double as a tweezers if necessary. It also has a screwdriver, which you can use on here, an eyeglass screwdriver, a very small screwdriver. It has a file. This one doesn't, by the way, have a knife on it, so it can fly legally on an airliner. It has a file, and on this side it has a cuticle tool, which I do occasionally use. The case I had it in is an ordinary coin purse, which you can find on the internet for about $6. Of course, I have my coins in there. I keep a spare $5 bill. I keep a couple of $1 coins because when I go to leave a tip, it seems more valuable to leave a coin that's a gold color, that's $1. On the back side, I had my Leathersmith rivet on a pouch, and in there, in addition to keeping the small Leatherman, I have the 4 GB thumb drive, very handy when you want to vacuum up some information from a customer or play him a sound file or something like that, and a lighter. I don't smoke, but I do find that a lighter comes in handy. Inside the coin purse as well, I keep a safety pin, and I keep my earplugs, which I do use approximately once a week at the range during practice and during classes I teach for the Arizona Concealed Weapons Permit class. Now we come to blades. The first blade that I have is my HAK knife. Again, it's in the back of the pouch, and I'll show you better where it goes in a little while when I pull the pouch out. My second knife is on the back of my wallet, and it's right here. And on the knife, you'll notice that I've zip-tied a Streamlight Nano. The reason I like these Streamlight Nanos is because they're very bright for their size. They last a long time with LED blades, and the cost in weight is virtually, well, nano. This HAK knife is made to fit. You send them the circumference of your fingers. It's a very handy knife. You can use it, and it's my tactical blade because it's on my right hand and I'm left-handed. It defends the gun side, and you can do whatever you need to do with this knife on, and you can even have a little flashlight if you like to do it. That's the second knife, and the reason I keep the second knife here under my shirt behind my wallet is because I can reach it with either my right or my left hand, and this is the knife I would use when I'm sitting down if I need it. This one is the HAK Curvy. HideawayKnife.com if you want to know more information about it. My last blade that I carry is a utility knife. It is made by Spyderco. This is the Dyad Junior. If I want a real sharp, articulate blade, I've got this one. And if I want to open a package, I've got this serrated blade. And this knife has been my companion for over 10 years. Got a micarta handle on it. It's one of my favorite little knives. Keys. I keep my keys on an S-hook. I like the S-hook because it is very lightweight, weighs virtually nano, weighs about what the flashlight does, maybe less, and yet it's a very secure way. I've never lost a set of keys off of these, and they don't look like a janitor's ring when I dress in business attire. On one end of my key ring, I have a Swiss Army knife. I don't ever use the blade or the scissors on it. The reason I have it is for the toothpick and for the tweezers on there. Every single one of my keychains has some form of flashlight on it because that's when you really need it, and again, it's one of the Streamlight Nanos. My keys are in the same order on each of my key rings, with my house key on one outside and the car I drive most often on the other, and they're in the exact same order. I think it is the height of unpreparedness to have only one ring of keys. This ring of keys I keep the 4.7s flashlight on it. It's the 4.7s Preon. I deliberately have it nice and tight in the pouch so that I can't accidentally lose them, and I carry it with the light screwed out so that it doesn't come on and drain the battery. It has 3 levels, bright, medium, and dim, and it also has on it a strobe, a disorienting strobe. It comes in real handy to have a flashlight on each key ring, plus there are times when I'm doing some project around the home where it's very handy to have a project lit from more than one angle, so having extra lights truly comes in handy. This is where my car remote lives, and these keys are tucked into my belt line so they don't jingle or look unsightly, and the pouch arrangement is pretty neat too. I'll show you that in a little bit. My main defensive armament is an ASP baton. The ASP baton is a less lethal form of force. As a defense instructor, I want to use the least amount of force possible in any self-defense situation. The best weapon on it is a flashlight. This one, like that other flashlight, is very bright. It has 3 settings to it. It also has a disorienting strobe. I leave it set on disorienting strobe because there's no place in the United States where shining a bright flashing light in someone's eyes, if they're coming towards you, would be a problem. And this flashlight also can be disconnected from the baton and unscrewed, and the flashlight can be carried just about anywhere, including on an airliner. Makes a not too bad, you'll see the strobe there, it makes a not too bad impact device, but more importantly, it's a darn good flashlight. And the ASP baton can go in checked luggage. There are a lot of jurisdictions where ASP batons are not allowed for civilian carry. In Arizona, and I'm a civilian, I've never been in the military or law enforcement, in Arizona this is completely legal, and in many other states it is. If this light was used defensively like this, pointed towards someone, and it was decided that you needed more force, all it takes is a slight flick and the whole baton comes out. I'm not going to flick it out real hard because it's too hard to pound it back in. If you're in an environment where your life is threatened and that you must use a tool of deadly force, my choice is the Glock 23. It's carried in a belly band holster, a cross draw. If you're built like me, the holster would be up here. If you're built a little less round, the holster would be down at the waist level, and you would get it by pulling up on your shirt. In my case, I leave this button unbuttoned. My tie covers it up very nicely. The draw is not as quick, but it is handy and no one sees it coming. Of course, if you've taken any kind of classes on defense, you'll know that you want to carry some spare ammunition, and I do carry a spare magazine for the Glock 23. And then, of course, it is a wise idea, if you're in a dangerous enough environment to be carrying a gun, to carry a backup. My choice is the Kel-Tec P3AT. It is a .380 caliber, and this holster, I promised I would show it to you. This is a custom-made holster made by Thor's Hammer Custom Leather. It holds my Leatherman Juice S2. It holds my 4.7's Preon flashlight with keys attached. And bolted to the back of it is this little holster from a company called Leightweight Industries, long out of business. I've had this holster for over 20 years, but it is just awfully handy and it completely disappears. I promised I would show this. The holster that I have on is a surgical elastic holster. It's made by a company no longer around, but it has little holes in it that allow for breathing, even for the holster to breathe, even in 110-degree heat in Arizona. This is a pretty similar holster to it, made of surgical elastic, and as you can see, the holsters are a little bit of leather here sewed right onto the pouch, and it can be carried either cross draw, or you can put it on the, you can turn it in right side out, and you can make it a strong side draw holster. Some people have said, and commenting on the EDC videos, yeah, well, that's all great if you're wearing a shirt and tie, but how in the world are you going to carry this if you're wearing a shorts and t-shirt? Well, I have an answer for that. This is a holster called the Cell Pal. And the way it works is it's got a case for your cell phone here. You put your cell phone in it, like so. And then this whole unit goes inside your pants like so. You put your gun in here, and this whole unit goes inside your pants, like that. And then when you sit down, I'm left-handed, so this is over my right leg. If I were right-handed, it would be over my left leg. When you sit down, the gun just goes flat with you, and it's a real handy way if you want to carry it, you're looking to carry it that way. Next thing on my EDC that I carry with me every day, I have my paracord bracelet, which would make an excellent tourniquet if it was necessary. And on it, I have zip-tied a Streamlight Nano flashlight. I wear this all the time, everywhere, day or night, except in the shower. And if you need a flashlight, it's nothing like having one when you need it. When the camouflage dog parks himself at the bottom of the bed, and you have to make that evening trip from the bedroom out, you'll understand why it's important to have a flashlight. I wear a dress watch most of the day, most of the business day. On the weekends and at night, I frequently take off my dress watch and substitute for it a sport watch from Casio. This one has altitude on it, and it also has temperature, something I use in hiking. And I've put, because it's an outdoors watch, and because you can't have too many flashlights, especially Streamlight Nanos, because they weigh almost nano, it never hurts to have an extra light on there. During the evening or on the weekends, if I'm not going to wear a tie and a shirt and slacks around the house, I may choose to wear a little bit less, and in that case I have what I call my Bathrobe EDC. My Bathrobe EDC is another Kel-Tec P3AT in a pocket holster, and because I don't want to walk around without a blade, because a blade is an awfully handy thing to have around the house. It's not exactly what I call tactical, but this is my the other half of my Bathrobe EDC. This gives me a cold steel Tanto. This has been a great knife. I've had it about 15 or 16 years. Never sharpened it. Used it a lot. It's still sharp. This is an EL1, and the holster was made for me custom to go on the knife by Brown Industries. He's here in Tucson. And on this side, there's a non-tactical flashlight and my keys. So that is my Bathrobe EDC. Now some people have said, gee, that's an awful lot of weight to carry around. And no, it's not. It's actually just a little bit under 7 pounds, I believe. But let's test the theory. We'll put all the items here with the heaviest stuff at the front. Make sure it's all centered on the scale, no matter what. £6 pounds 11 ounces. So as I said, it's under 7 pounds, so it's really not that heavy. Now, some people have said, gee, that's an awful lot of kit. I carry maybe a pen, I carry a phone, I like to carry a small pistol, and I don't mind having a pocket knife. Well, if that's what you want, and all you wanted was one set of keys, there's a gun, a Leatherman tool, a pocket knife, a pen, and a phone, and you're at 1 pound 11 ounces. So it would definitely be a lightweight EDC, and certainly that would be much better equipped than most Americans are, unfortunately. We'd like to see more people carry more things, because then they'll be more self-sufficient. Thanks for listening. The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.